If people aren't watching your videos or buying anything from you, or even worse, they are watching your videos but they're not buying from you, you're doing something wrong. And this might come across as a bit harsh, but I'm endeavoring to support you here so that you can ultimately attract your ideal clients and your ideal audience to your videos. So the big reason that I see this happening, and I've experienced this myself, by the way, so I'm speaking from experience here, it's because you aren't realizing the reason that someone comes to watch your video, in which case they're paying with their attention, or they come to use your service, in which case they're paying with their money. So the reason someone would do either of those things is because they want something from you. And because of this, it's transactional. Like, making content, people watching your videos, is transactional. And we don't need to call that, bad or anything. Like, it is what it is. The world, it's a transactional place. Everywhere you see this, it's happening. And you need to realize that, because that's going to inform how you actually show up in your content. So you need to realize people want something from you. And so you need to give them something that they want. Now, in the business sense, people, they want you to solve their problem. That's what business is. You go to hire someone to solve a problem. You hire a plumber to fix your sink. You hire a dentist to help you with your dental health, and so on and so forth. So you need to acknowledge that, because that's going to inform what goes in the content. And the biggest mistake I see people make is that there's two places you can speak from in your videos. You can speak from your wounds, and you can speak from your scars. Now I'll unpack what that means. So a wound, as you might know, it's tender, it's fragile, and it's not yet healed. Now I know all about that because I currently have stitches in my foot because I had a surfing accident the other day. Now if I was to go and walk and exercise as normal, that wound would not heal. It would probably get infected, and I would have a bad time. And that's what happens when you speak from your wound. You end up infecting your business, infecting your audience with people that aren't at a stage where they're willing to help themselves by investing in your services. So those people are just never going to invest because they're just not in that headspace. And that's fine. On the other hand, if you are speaking from a scar, like let's say my wound heals, I can go and I can play paddle again. I can go surfing again. And things should be fine. In fact, I'll probably be using better technique, and I'll be more appreciative of the health that I have. And so, how does this come back to content? When you speak from a scar, you are speaking from experience, and you're essentially presenting wisdom. And that's very powerful, because there's a certain energy that comes with speaking from a scar versus speaking from a wound. When you speak from a wound, you're probably very relatable in the wrong way. And when you speak from a scar, if you do it correctly, you'll be relatable in a good way. So a lot of people, they're afraid to speak from a place of authority because they have insecure feelings about all sorts of other things. And so they feel like they're being inauthentic if they're speaking from a place of authority or a place of a scar. And that makes sense, but I think fundamentally it comes down to a misunderstanding of the nuance of what it actually means to be authentic. So to be truly authentic, in my opinion, is to recognize your wounds and recognize your scars, and to approach your life with consideration to both of those things. So I'll tell you right here, right now, I don't know how to make €100,000 in a month. I've never done it. So I don't talk about it with you, but I do talk about that with my mentors and with coaches, because that is the time and the place for me to talk about that. because they can give me the value that hopefully one day I can come on and share here with you. So I could, in theory, come on here and talk about how I'm trying to do this and that and the other. But would that actually be useful to you? I would say not really. It would dilute the actual value that I have to offer to you. So some wounds that I've healed and brought to be scars are around making videos. I've made hundreds of videos. I've gotten millions of views on these videos. I've attracted lots of clients through my videos. And I've made a pretty decent living doing this. And I can actually speak to you about that because I've done it. And I've also experienced the pain of not knowing what to do. I've had an audience, but didn't know how to make money from the audience. I've had a skill set, but didn't know how to monetize the skill set. I've done those things, and I understand what was involved in the healing process to bring me to a place of having a scar, and that is where I speak to you from. And if I was to speak to you from a wound, what I would be doing is actually diluting the value that I do have to give you. And I see people do this all of the time, where they won't show up with their value because they think they're not authentic, but really they're just misunderstanding and misperceiving the value that they have. And one common example is with creative people that have a background in they've learned some skills like editing, video production, these things. And the obvious thing there is that they can help people make content, make social media posts and stuff like this. But in their head, they'll say something like, but I'm not successful on YouTube, so who am I to do this? And you could objectively say, yeah, you're not successful on YouTube, but you don't have the statistics that we would attribute to a successful YouTuber. But what is YouTube? It's a platform where we post videos. Okay, so there's YouTube, but then there's videos that go on YouTube. So we can't become a successful YouTuber without being a successful video creator. How do you become a successful video creator? You learn how to use a camera, you learn lighting, you learn how to edit. Those are completely different things. And if you're going to wait until you're a successful YouTuber to start helping people edit videos, that's a huge disservice to people that have no idea how to edit a video. They have no idea how to show up to camera and express themselves. And so you could be making a lot of money right there, but you're too focused on your wound, which is that you're not yet a successful YouTuber, that you won't even speak from your scars. And ironically, speaking from your scars is what's going to attract your clients and probably end up making you a successful YouTuber, or business owner, whatever you want to do, whatever space you're operating in. It's the same principle. And so it wouldn't make sense for me to talk about making 100 grand in a month because I don't know how to do it. I haven't done it. If I knew how to do it, I would have done it. But there's other stuff that I have done, right? So, building communities, selling other people's stuff, selling my own stuff to a six-figure level. I've done that. And so I can share with confidence and a strong feeling of competence because I'm actively doing it. Like I do it, every week I'm making videos and I'm reaching thousands of people and I'm improving the lives of people. And there's other stuff I'm working on too. But you can kind of see how they're separate. So don't discount the value that you have to offer because that's what's going to actually result in you snowballing and growing your career. But if you're waiting for another credential or some day to come before you actually do the thing, before you launch your first poor offer, you're going to be waiting a long time because I've been alive for almost 31 years and someday has never happened. There's only ever been the other 7 days of the week that we all go by. Someday it's never happened. And if you're really serious about this, I run creator sprints where I actually help people make their offers, find the direction, find out who is their audience, how do they actually package up their gifts and share that. So we're starting a new sprint just next week, and there's 2 spaces available for it now. We've got a really nice group of people actually formed just over the last few days. And this is just a fantastic way to grow quickly alongside myself and these other creators that are doing the same thing. So I'll pop a link in the description. You can apply for one of those last spots. The applications will close tomorrow. But I can't emphasize this enough. You need to realize that being ready, it doesn't exist. To be ready is to just make a decision. The first time I launched an offer, nobody bought it. I had 1 inquiry and they didn't even pay. And I can tell you about that now because I can understand why it didn't work, because I've fixed that problem. And for me, that's now a scar, because I don't really have that problem anymore. I know how to sell things and to market things. I know how to put the right content into a video, to support people with free value. Like this is free value, and I know that some people watching this, something's going to click, and you're actually going to go after this video, and you're going to do that thing that you've been saying you're going to do someday. And kudos to you for doing that, because that's literally what's going to get you to the place of healing that wound and turning it into a scar. And the more wounds you heal, just the more value you have to offer to the market. But you just have to keep coming back to, what is it the audience wants? Because that is why they're watching. If they don't want what you're presenting, they're not going to watch. They're not going to buy. And if you end up speaking from wounds all of the time, there's this saying, misery loves company. Woe is me. Life is hard. And you're not going to attract people that are ready for change if you're just speaking from a wound. Because there's a degree of victimhood at play there. Like, I'll be honest with you, right now, I'm quite frustrated about this foot. Because I love sport, I love exercise, and I'm not able to do that right now. And that's not very inspiring for you to hear. But if I tell you about, the first ever launch I did that failed, and how eventually I managed to turn that into really high profit months, and show you how I did that, and what went wrong, and then what I solved to make it go in a positive direction, that's actually inspiring and useful. Because you might be struggling right now with getting views on a video. Just like I was. You might be struggling right now with making your first sale. And I've struggled with all that too. And so for you to know that you're not alone, that that's just a natural part of the progression of being a successful business person, is very comforting. Like one of my favorite creators is Dan Coe, and the reason for that is because he talks always about his failed businesses, and I just love it. I love knowing he's a human that has suffered, and when I'm suffering, he acts as a lighthouse, and that's what you can be for your ideal audience. But you need to showcase you have the thing that they want. You're a few steps ahead. Doesn't mean you have it all figured out. I'll tell you right now, I don't have everything figured out, but I'm not trying to help you with the things I don't have figured out. That's why I'm always figuring out new things with coaches, with mentors, so that I can learn, so I can report back to you and speak from scars to help you with your wounds. And that's the difference between attracting people that just want to complain and live in a disempowered victim mindset versus the people that are fed up with their circumstances, they're ready to heal their wounds, and they see you as the person that's going to support them in the formation of those scars. And that's so bloody powerful, because doing this by yourself, it just sucks, honestly. Like, I was doing it by myself for a long time, and the day that I made a decision to bring someone else on board to support me and help me, everything changed. Because I actually had a teammate to bounce ideas off. We were growing together. And on the days that I was stuck, I could, reach out and so on and so forth. And that's ultimately what's led to me, cultivating a lifestyle business where I don't have to work too much. When I do work, it's pretty fun. I mean, this morning I had a couple of client calls in a cafe down the street, and it was just a nice conversation with a couple of business owners that just want to learn from my expertise around content creation, storytelling, how to position an offer, and so on. And it's just natural to me because I've had that wound. I didn't know what to do, so now it's just quite clear to me when I look at a situation, well, I've been there, let me just step into your shoes for a moment. Okay, yeah, that's the best decision. This thing needs improvement, this thing needs to go, and let's move forward from there. Whereas if you're meeting someone who's got a wound and you've got wounds, you're just like, oh yeah, it's so hard. My niche is impossible. The algorithm's against me. The amount of people that, they'll comment on their videos saying that they've been posting for so long and it's just not fair for some people. Like, you have to be hot or this or that. Like, it's not true. The fact of the matter is that there is luck involved, yes, but luck is just an equation. Do things over a long enough period of time, you'll get lucky. That's how it works. But if you're not doing the right things, you're not going to get lucky. Okay? So have the humility to consider, maybe I'm not actually giving the people what they want. Because if I was giving them what they want, they'd be clicking on the videos and they'd be watching the videos and they'd be paying me for more help because they see the value in what I'm offering. So if you're not making sales, it's because people don't see the value. And that's as simple as it is. And there's an important little switch for you. Selling, it's not about you making money. It's about solving the problem of the person who's giving you the money. They're giving you the money because they see it as a worthwhile investment. It's more painful for them to not give you the money than it is to give you the money. And if you're approaching it from, oh, I need the money, you've got it all backwards. You need to literally understand what their problem is, if and how you can solve it, and then you present that solution. But it requires asking questions. You need to diagnose what it is first. It's like if you go to a doctor and the doctor just says, I have all of these medicines, what do you want? And you're sitting there as the patient, you're like, I have no freaking idea. It doesn't make sense. So that's why it's important to ask the questions. Well, how are you feeling? Like, where does it hurt? Does it hurt here? Okay, and what have you been doing in the last few weeks before this pain arose? When you switch it from, here, take my stuff, pay me please, to, what do you need? Then you don't really have to sell anything because it's simply a matter of listening and then saying, well, actually, I have a solution for you. Pretty confident it'll work. And do you want it? And let the person make a decision. You might think you're not making sales or getting views because you're not selling or being tactical enough, but that's only a really small part of it. The best tactic is to just be a human, listen to the person in front of you, and respond accordingly. So that's pretty much it for this one, guys. If you want to join our free community, there's a link in the description. And in there, you'll get some free resources on content creation, business development. And also, I'm launching something really exciting soon called the Creator Society. And it's going to be available for the people in that group. So if you want to have a good time, that's a place you might go to have a good time. Yeah, that's pretty much it for this one. Creator Sprint application, again, closes tomorrow, so apply in the description. Other than that,